Hey guys, Mastengen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so finally today I finished the last link for LR Master Roshi. So we're going to jump into an event and show him off at full level 10 links. So as you can see from the title of the video, there is very much an argument to be made that the LR Master Roshi after his EZA is the best free-to-play unit in the game, just because of the sheer amount of things that he can do. So if we start off looking at his super attacks, we have the 12 key super, massively raises attack for 1 turn, does colossal damage, and has a great chance to stun. So obviously that's something that can be super useful in Super Battle Road. And then his 18 key super raises attack by 628% for 1 turn, which is pretty crazy. Mega colossal damage to the enemy and seals super attack. So obviously one thing straight away, now you see that all the time with LRs because normally 12 key is colossal, 18 key is mega colossal. But the difference between the attack stat, if you can only get the 12 key super and then getting the 18 key super, is vastly different. Obviously, if you get the additional super attack, that will be the 12 key super, but he's still got that attack buff already. So then you'll see wildly different attack stats for his 12 key super, depending on whether it is an additional or if it's just the only super attack of the turn. And the 18 key does also seal as well. So if we look at his passive, he has 120% defense, he has a medium chance to dodge, so pretty solid defense and a 30% chance to dodge. He gives Turtle School category allies 3 key and attack and defense 40%. Bear in mind that obviously includes him as well, so that's very good. If HP is 50% or less at the start of the turn, and there are 2 or more Turtle School allies on the team, he has the revival skill. You revive with 60% HP if any unit on the team receives a blow that would kill you. So I gave him a fair bit of crit because obviously it'd be very nice if we can get the 18 key and then the additional. Because he only has a 30% chance to dodge, I gave him level 3 dodge and then 14 crit. He does have an active skill as well. He has to be hit 7 times and have a Turtle School ally on the same turn. Now obviously because he has the 30% chance to dodge, that can be a little bit annoying. It's not as bad as the Goku because obviously he has to be hit 3 times but has a 70% chance to dodge. So not only does this do a nice big attack, massively raises attack temporarily, does ultimate damage, it also gives all allies key +7 for 1 turn. So when you bear in mind how many LRs you can run on the teams that he is prevalent on, like that's really good. And so yeah, I've maximized his abilities with some skill orbs, full level 10 links, and yeah, he's on a ton of categories as well. So since that is the theme of the celebration, we are running him on the Reps of Universe 7 team. His best link partner really on this team is the AGL UI Goku, so that means we can run them together and then have a rotation of the AGL and the STR. Jumped into the Barbadies army stage. We literally one-turned Yamo and Spopovich because we started off with double AGL UI Goku rotation. So here we have Roshi and Tien on rotation as well, which is allowing him to pick up Shattering the Limit and Brainiacs. So he's got 5 of his links active here. Very good. His defense is 214k. Bear in mind Roshi and Tien obviously do give 40% support as well, but that is a very, very nice attack defense stat for him. So we're getting the full 24 key super attack. So we'll go ahead and see just how much he can hit here on turn 1. Now he does have a 40% support unit on the rotation, but even so, this is his first turn. UI Goku gets the dodge, and then 5.7 million attack stat. So that's pretty good. Yeah, 4.5 million crit, and then we get the additional. There we go. So just shy of 4 million attack stat on his 12 key super. That is actually pretty damn good. So yeah, he takes out our man here, and we can move on to the next phase. I guess we'll float off 17 for now. So we'll go ahead and do this. So the big thing is whether or not Roshi is the best free-to-play unit in the game. So obviously the #1 competitor that he's pitted up against is another LR who is an EZA, which is of course the Extreme STR Prime Battle Frieza. Now Prime Battle Frieza is really, really good. He's got a super good link set. He's on a really good set of teams as well. But obviously there's a lot of differences between the 2 units. So I think in terms of raw power on his best rotation, and in the most optimal position, Prime Battle Frieza does actually hit higher attack stat on his 18 key super. But one thing to bear in mind is full power Frieza, you need to put him in slot 1 or 3 if you want to get that extra bit of key. And also you have to be fighting a super type enemy if you want to get another little extra bit of key, which of course Roshi, whilst you do need to have a Turtle School ally on rotation to do things like his active skill, for example, it doesn't really matter what slot we put him in, and he will be fine. So let me just double check here. So it's Kamehameha, Tournament of Power, and Legendary Power. And then, yeah, so that's it. So that's the only downside to Roshi. If you look at, there's a website where you can check to see, like, which units are the best link partners for other units. And Roshi's best linking partners are literally only 3 units. Like, this Goku is listed as one of his best link partners, and they only have 3 links together. So, not the best. Let's go ahead and see here, actually. This is a really good opportunity to deliberately just get the 12 key super and see what his attack stat is. Because bear in mind, it was 4 million on the turn where we'd already got that buff. And so here it's 1.5. Now, we don't have a 40% support unit on the rotation, so obviously that makes a difference. But even if we best case scenarioed him, I don't think that attack stat would have gotten up higher than, say, 2 million with a support on rotation. So when you think back to that previous turn, that's him getting like an extra, like double the attack stat, basically, as long as it's an additional following the 18 key super. So that really shows you how good that first part of the super attack effect is for him on his 18 key super. 628% extra attack. So that follow-up super, if you're able to get it, doing almost double the attack stat is definitely a huge amount of extra damage, and that's why I went for a little bit more additional on him. Still gave him a decent amount of crit, because obviously we want him to crit on those super attacks, and because he's a unit that has an active skill that deals damage, then ideally we want him to crit on the active skill as well, if possible. So, double super attack from Gohan and Piccolo. They're also a support unit for the team, so they help out quite a bit here. Their defense is fairly decent, especially after the supers, so not too much damage from the Dabura super attack. This team still has almost 550k HP as well, which is pretty solid. And Tien and Roshi, haven't bothered link leveling them. They probably are one of the better choices for support units on this team, but not too sure how much I would be running them. So I did bring Senzu Beans just for this specific situation that you guys know I hate so much with the rotation locking. So we have just under 200k HP. So I'm going to go ahead and leave Roshi in slot 1 here, because we do really want him to start taking some hits so that we can potentially see the active skill in the video. So hopefully we don't get supered in slot 1. But yeah, see, there's a dodge, there's another dodge, and there's another dodge. So, on the one hand, great, he dodged all 3 attacks. But then on the other hand, we don't get to see his active skill unless he gets hit 7 times. So, if he just goes ahead and dodges every single attack that comes his way, it means you're never actually going to end up seeing his active skill. But, there we go. So, we'll start building up our STR UI here. We've got a decent setup with the Gohan and Piccolo on rotation for the little bit of extra support. So we can do a huge chunk of damage to Majin Vegeta in this turn. So yeah, the differences between Frieza and Master Roshi come down to a couple of things. Like I said, Roshi, it doesn't matter which slot you put him in. And really it's only his active skill that is requiring you to have the Turtle School ally on the turn. To get his revival skill, you only have to have 2 Turtle School allies on the team. So literally, if you're running a rotation of the 2 UI Gokus together, doesn't matter what the rest of your team even is, and Roshi will be able to have access to that active skill. So that's really good. Whilst Frieza definitely has the edge in links and potentially in raw damage, you also can't discount the fact that the revival skill is incredibly useful. Now, in practice, now that the revival system is in play in Global, and we've talked about this in some previous videos, sometimes it can be a little bit annoying when you've like fulfilled the first part of the condition for your revival skill, but then you start the turn and you're on like 52% HP, which means it's then not going to activate, which is definitely quite annoying. Can we get the Dokkan attack this turn? I don't know. I don't think we can. But when you can get it, that's obviously a hugely useful mechanic that Frieza, of course, does not have. And it doesn't have a turn restriction. It only has the 2 Turtle School allies on the team. So, say for example, if you go into Super Battle Road and you have Master Roshi on turn 2, if on turn 1 you take 50% or more damage, then his revival skill is just active on turn 2, which is super useful. Whereas obviously Frieza, he can raise his defense on his 12 key super attack, but because a lot of the time, especially if you're going to be keeping him on main rotation, you're going to be putting him in slot 1 so that he gets that extra key. So then of course if he takes like a big super attack in slot 1, that could get you killed. Now, whilst that could also get Roshi killed, he has the backup of potentially having that revival skill ready to go. So that definitely is incredibly useful. But yeah, I think it all comes down to personal preference. And I talked about this when I made my tier list the other day of the top 10 Dokkan Fest TURs on Global. Make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it already. I did say right at the beginning that when it comes down to ranking whether one unit is better than the other or not, a lot of it comes down to personal preference, because there might be one actually, I'd have to double check, but I don't think you can run Roshi and Frieza on the same teams at all. So obviously straight away there's already a big like discrepancy there when you're trying to rank them together, because deciding which one's best, it's not like you're deciding which one is going to be the one you bring on the team that you're building, because you can't really run both of them. So if you prefer running like extreme teams, transformation boost teams, space traveling warriors, you really like STR Cooler, physical Cooler when he gets his EZA fairly soon on Global, then obviously Frieza is way better because he fits into that team super well. But of course the anniversary has made this Reps of Universe 7 team insanely good now. And so, you know, Roshi clearly, you can't put Frieza on this team. So it definitely comes down to which team are you running, which scenario are you going into. But just by comparing them directly, it's kind of hard to say, I think. I feel like for me personally, because I like to run those extreme teams, I really like Cooler. Like I've said before, STR Turles is my favourite summonable LR. You can run him on that team. So even though it's very STR heavy, I often like to run that team with one rotation being the Prime Battle Frieza and then Cooler, and then the other rotation being the LR Turles with the AGL Turles, who of course will be an absolute beast once he gets an EZA, and then that rotation will actually be insane. And so yeah, for me, maybe Frieza edges it out a little bit. It's kind of hard to say, because again, you can't really take them into the same content. Like Roshi's revival skill will potentially help you out a ton in all of the Super Battle Road stages that you can run him on. But again, you're not going to be running Frieza on those stages anyway. So I think a lot of it comes down to personal preference. It's very difficult for me to decide, and even though I made that tier list the other day, I've been very open in the past about how I normally don't bother making tier lists or rankings and stuff like that, solely because of that reason that I've already covered. The fact that like everyone's criteria for which unit is better than another is very different, and Roshi or Roshi or Frieza, I feel like if you were to say one is number 1 and the other one's number 2, regardless of which way round, I don't think there's like many ways to argue that you're incorrect, because it's so situational which of the two is better. But you guys let me know which you think. Obviously, one big advantage for a lot of people is that it's a lot easier to get Roshi than it is Frieza, because whilst farming his event for the medals and stuff can be kind of annoying, at least you're not having to farm 777 medals from a Prime Battle event. So I guess there is that. And then, of course, if you really want to see the unit's full potential, I mean, we just jumped into a random Infinite Dragon Ball History stage, but we didn't get an opportunity to see the revival skill or the active skill. So he has a couple of tools in his arsenal that can be very useful, but you won't even necessarily get to use them all the time, which I guess could be a little bit disappointing, and some people could definitely see that as a negative. So yeah, let me know what you think. So Roshi or Prime Battle Frieza, which is the best free-to-play unit on Global right now? If you think it's a different one, let me know. I don't know if I would agree, but let us know your reasoning, and I guess we'll see. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.